Welcome back to another episode of the Mental Wealth Podcast. Man, we had to do it once again. We had to run it back. You know what I'm saying? The conversation was not over. So brought back Mr. Rod Steele, the chef, for part two. Conversation that we kind of did a deep dive into to who Rod Steele, the chef, is, and his career and where it has taken him. But now we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into Mr. Rod Steele, the individual. So there were some few things that he wanted to get off of his chest. You know what I'm saying? And we wanted to make sure that he had the platform to do that on. So we definitely had to bring him back. So without further ado, welcome back, my guy, Mr. Rod Steele, the chef.
Rod, I'm in the house, man.
What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? I'm here, man.
Man, hey, we definitely had to do this again because the first time, man, we definitely got to chop it up and you got to tell the people about who Rod Steele, the chef, is. But this time around, man, we're gonna dive a little deeper into who Rod Steele is. You know what I'm saying? And get a better understanding of who the individual is. And also, we definitely gonna also make sure that we tap back into some of the things that didn't get talked about in the first episode. So, like I said, welcome back, Mr. Rod Steele, the chef.
Most definitely, man. Glad to be back.
Yes, sir.
Man. With us again.
Yes, sir. We had to run it back, man. We had to do another one because, like what I'm saying, like I said earlier, there was some stuff we definitely dive a little deeper into as far as Rod Steele, the individual. So we definitely gonna do that this episode. But then we also gonna we always got to tie in that wealth aspect into it and talk about a little bit about business as well. But we'll get into that a little later. You ready to do this thing, man?
Oh yeah, man. You already know, man.
All right, let's get into
it. Get it.
Let's get into it. All right, so the first question for you, Mr. Rod Steele, I got: can you share any strategies or techniques you have found helpful in coping with mental health challenges, especially during difficult times?
Oh yeah, always, man. I'm always looking for different ways and strategies to, just keep my mind at ease, being able to navigate through this thing we call life, man. Top thing that I'll use is, cooking. That allows me to, zone out to a space to where I can just, create flavors, create recipes. Also just, create love, put love into the food, or just, even whether I'm just creating a meal for myself or creating a meal for a client, it allowed me to just zone out, not think of anything else that doesn't have anything to do with the recipe or just the ingredients that I'm rocking with, throw some music on and just, kind of hop into my zone and just vibe out. So, cooking is top on my list. Also, just finding time to work out, calisthenics, just finding time to meditate, taking some time out to do that, just kind of tuning out the whole entire world and clocking in and just, trying to get those answers that we're looking for, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'll say those are top three, man. Meditation, working out, fitness, and cooking for sure.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I feel you on that because that piece you're talking about has a lot to do with, just self-care, doing the things that we love to make sure that we always on point. You know what I'm saying?
To make sure we are our best self. You know what I mean, at all times.
Yeah, exactly.
High maintenance. They say high maintenance is a bad thing, right? But shit, if we want to reach high levels in our life and we want to grow, it's like we gotta be high maintenance as well. Don't ever let nobody tell you that that's bad. Like, it's something,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah, you gotta
But
set
like
big
the
goals.
vision, we want to see like bigger, greater things. So it's gonna be, a lot of maintenance to keep those things. Or we build for it or not. So, I feel like the Most High gives us the strength to, power through these things, and so we should always set high standards for ourselves as well. Allow us to execute on a high level. You know,
Nah, facts, man. I mean, at the very most, we want to put our best, our best effort, give everybody, that we come across our best self. So, taking care of ourselves, mentally, physically, just like you stated, is, the best way to put your best foot forward when doing that. And so, I totally agree with you on that piece that you said about tuning out the world. I think that's important, man. I think that's huge because
exactly. Everybody.
sometimes, yeah, like sometimes you just gotta hit that reset button and you know what I mean and cut out the excess noise, man, to really get that understanding of self. So I
Yeah, tune
definitely.
out all distractions, man. Just just hit that wrap it up button and just wrap it. Everybody got a few minutes to wrap it up, and then once it's all wrapped up, I'm going into hibernation mode and I'm locking in, tuning out the whole entire world. What I envision is much too important to be distracted. Um, running around on a hamster wheel, addition all my energy and time to multiple sources. I gotta lock in and harness that power to make and fulfill, that greatness of that obligation that I'm trying to fulfill, pretty much, for the most part.
Nah, that's real. That's real. And it's like,
You know,
definitely gotta take care of yourself to get to them. And then once you get to them goals, you gotta make bigger goals. And it don't stop.
yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop.
And it's always business, never personal, man.
Exactly. Never personal.
You
Never
might
personal.
like, ghosting people is not necessarily a bad thing,
Nah, especially if those
I
people bring
ghost
that
people in the
negative energy.
world. Sometimes people be hitting me like they be upset and be like, it's not personal, man. It's just I turn my phone off or I just, snub calls. Like, it's all love still. You know?
Nah, facts, man. And especially if them people bring that negative energy around and that
Yeah,
draining energy. Every time you speak to them, you feel more tired, or more drained than you did when you picked up the phone. It's like, man, you gotta separate yourself. Sometimes you gotta love folks
facts,
from a
man.
distance. I love folks from a distance, man. Ain't nothing wrong with
Yeah, man. I get a lot of that, and more recently I've been just it been all about me, man. All about me and me put my best foot forward so I could be the best version of me for my family, my partner, my son, and sometimes you gotta just shut the word out. That includes family. Anybody who doesn't serve. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to serve me, but anybody who doesn't pour into the cup of positivity, what I mean, calling you with draining information, things that doesn't add any value to your life. So it's like you gotta just tune people out,
it.
It's
Yeah,
all
facts.
love, I mean, we'll eventually talk. I mean, on a brighter day.
Right.
But now when we locked in, shit, you might not get a call to end of the month.
Exactly. Nah, but real ones understand though. You know what I'm saying? Like, real ones will know. Like, okay, sometimes no news is good news. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
when you do tap back in, it's like, okay, you just pick up right where you left off, and that's how you know. You know what I mean? That
mm-hmm.
individual is like solid, and they got your best interest at heart for sure. Instead of like
Yeah,
attacking you for not, not getting back to them when they want you to get back to them. You feel me? So,
yeah.
but but yeah, I know you mentioned that cooking served as like as an outlet for you during difficult times. Can you elaborate on how it helps you maintain like your mental balance?
Oh yeah, definitely. Cooking, it definitely, the way it helps me maintain that specific balance is just, um, just how I can, like, the zoning out part. Like, once I have my ingredient list and my, things in order of like, okay, what I'm rocking with, what does my client want? It allows me to just tune out all distractions, set a time block for a few hours, and just lock in. The kitchen is just my canvas to where I can, just get in there and just get in my pocket and, you know, start putting up
Yeah.
numbers.
Create a masterpiece. Exactly.
Yeah, man. Because
Nice.
sometimes, I come in like no matter how many years I've been doing this, I've been doing this almost 17 years as far as just overall cooking, and sometimes it's almost like you're a rookie still, no matter how much you did this. You know what I mean? You come in, it's always the same. You
Yeah.
kind of set your tone for the day. For me, I try to set my tone early for my day before I start work. I try to get in my zone of self care and get myself right, of course, in the AM, and then sipping my tea and taking my morning drive. Looking at the mountains and all that, and on the way to to the grind. Herbal remedies and different things that help boost the and amplify the ambiance. You know what I mean? But I set my tone for my day. Get my supplements. You know what I mean? Try to stay on a healthy path. Get my sea moss, my ashwagandha, moringa, all my different things. To give me my energy in the day. Boost me up, and I just head to it. Head to the grind, man.
Yes, sir.
Lock in, see what I got to do for the day. Check my inventory of what I got. Get all my ingredients together. You know, you know, and I just lock in, man. I get the okay. I see I got 6 meals to create for this time block, or like 9 meals. 10 to 15 of each. However many amount patients I have to cook for this day or that day. Most of the time, I'm cooking for um, old folks, retirement homes and things like that, Alzheimer's centers and things of that nature. So yeah. So, but I'm locking in. I got my music. I got a playlist cracking, or just whatever mood I'm in. You know what I mean? It could be anything from some 70s soul to like what's modern. You know what I mean now, or just you know what I mean, or 90s what we grew up on. Anything
Yeah.
from some like the most hardcore um
Yeah.
like shit to like the most soulful, peaceful, um meditation tones or whatever.
Yeah.
With it. You know what I mean? As far as like just being well versed in music and things like that. I just that's my happy place, man, for the most part. And other than that, outside of that, finding time to work out. And over the last 3 years or so, I became more in tune with my like staying on top of my fitness and staying consistent with it. The most I ever been in my life. So that's motivated me to stay on top of that and create a lane for myself. In the fitness world, I have a brand that I'm working on as far as with fitness.
Like skipping those steps, you know what I'm saying? And that's I could definitely take my hat off to. It's a lot of like it's a lot of brothers out here that just kind of lost, man. And, a lot of dudes be crashing out because they be trying to emulate something that they see. But to me, just hearing you speak about you're able to step into a kitchen and paint a masterpiece through your culinary skill. And for the individuals who are on the receiving end of that, I can only imagine, right, the reviews that you get from these folks, man. So, can you tell us like any instances where you may have come into the kitchen in a bad mood, you got into your zone, like you said, someone's uh, response to your food change your perspective, or on whatever it is you might have like been going through in that moment. Can you give us an example or something like that?
Yeah, definitely, man. On a daily basis, actually, just um, I would say just my young adolescent years, throughout the 20s, I would say, and just like different life things that can happen. It could be a flat tire. It could just be, some car issues. Things that you go through as a young, um, guy out here trying to, make it smart. Different life things. It could be run-ins with the law. Um, just being harassed. Different things that could just put you in a bad mood or just throw off,
True.
just throw you off your course. And then still having to show up for work or whatnot. So at the end of the day, you still have to leave everything, all that baggage at the door when you come in. I mean, in most kitchens, um, you know, I worked with many people before who necessarily don't embody that trait to, as far as being able to compartmentalize things, and you gotta kind of like knows business never personal. You leave everything at the door and you kind of come in. You know what I mean? Everybody come in with a clean slate and just rock out. I got what I got going on in my life. He got what he got going on in his life. She do. They do too. So it's like we all just collectively jamming out. You know what I mean? Working together. You know what I mean? Cohesively. Spinning off each other. You know what I mean? Communicating. Kitchens. When you're doing like high level cooking, it's very intense. You know what I mean? It's a lot of yelling, it's a lot of screaming, it's a lot of you have to remember multiple items, a whole entire. Say if you got a party of 20 that come in and they start ordering food. It's a table of 20 people, so it's a big order. So the chef, you know what I mean, whoever the chef is, whether it's me or whether it's another chef, they call out the order when it comes in. It could be, you know, 15 sirloin, no, 15 steaks or whatever type of steak they eat. 15 this, 5 that, 10 that. These things that are called out. If you work the station where those items are cooked, you gotta remember all them things that were called out. It could be 10 items, 15 items, but your mind had to be so sharp to where, you know what I mean? You better remember these things or write them down if you need to, but like we don't really you really don't have the space or time to write things down. I mean, you do. You know what I mean? Keep some pens and Sharpies and shit, but we on the go. You ain't got time to make lists and you gotta make mental notes and and do what you do. But it takes a lot of mental for the most part. I use that in the sense of just being able to cope mentally with like dealing with outside things, being like, able to compartmentalize them and just put them in a trunk. You know what I mean? Be able to yada yada get through work. You know what I mean? And just bang out these 400 reservations or whatever we got to do that night, and just power through it and get off work and then deal with whatever I got to deal with. You know what I mean? That was the best way. And then when you get off work and you have like probably a better perspective, a calmer perspective, you're able to revisit things. Um,
Has there ever been like any customers or anybody that's tried your food that's like giving you such a great review, right? That kind of just push you to go harder or so want to pursue your craft even more?
yeah, definitely all the time, man. It's always room for growth. You know what I mean? And, I'm always open for constructive criticism. It's always room to get better in areas. And, we just take it and smile. Customer is always right, technically. You know what I mean? So they're paying their money, but you do have some customers who are just a pain in the butt. And they just don't get it. Don't under or understand certain things about the fine dining aspect of cooking, or just you know certain things about fine dining when it comes to that. It could be something simple as like the way an item is supposed to be cooked. the standard, as far as restaurant
Yeah.
standard, and then but dealing with certain customers, I definitely have had customer reviews to where they give me a good word, and are excited and happy and boastful about um, what the demonstration that which I've laid, the impression which I've left them with from my craft, and it's a beautiful thing to have people in uproar or just happy about how you made them feel when it comes to satisfying them with the palate, of course, satisfying them with what I mean, with my creativity, you know whipping it up. What I mean, being able to translate my creativity with love into food, and then allowing them to consume it, and just the cycle repeats, and then able to give me feedback about it. It just lets me know I'm, what I mean, in the right lane, on the right path. What I mean, doing what I'm supposed to do. And also, I have received negative reviews, from people, not on a high level, but just people just want has something to say. What I mean, people want to be a critic, or people just want to some attention and things like that. For the most part, nothing serious. You know, small fries. Little ants. And everybody's entitled to their opinion. What I mean. So at the end of the day,
Yeah.
the customer is always right. If I pay my money, I'm be able to say whatever I want about what I paid for. So I let people have it when everybody don't have to agree or understand. What you know is trying to be demonstrated.
Nah,
Or
fact,
for the most part, I
fact,
have
fact.
had events where it has went not necessarily went bad, but to where like okay, you get your deposit and things like that. I've had events where like I got caught up in traffic, um, to where I was late and tardy, and I had to learn from that. Being able to learn to where in the future, moving forward, I make sure I have more than enough time to get there and show up and show out. And at the same time, my communication skills have developed over the years to where it's like, at the end of the day, things do happen. As long as you keep proper communication with somebody, things can be run a lot smoother. What I mean? It might not be as serious as we make it. A lot of times we create anxiety for ourselves, and we just this is a thing I used to do when I was younger. I create this anxiety. What I mean? You could be running late, running behind. You deal, and I'm working in such a serious work environment to where 5 minutes late is like the end of the world to some people. And it's like at the end of the day, as long as you even still, as long as you keep proper communication, you know, people get it.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, you're not like you only one person, so you could do what you can. So not look at it like that. You
That's all we can do. You know what I'm saying? Do what we can do. That's it. That's
Feel me?
all. That's it. That's all. Can't please
Put too much
everybody.
pressure
But
on ourselves, man. The whole like Nipsey and them said, no pressure, man. No pressure.
yeah, exactly. Pressure. Nothing to it but to do it. But
Yeah.
speaking on that, like betrayal from any aspect of our life, can lead to deep trust issues. Like, have you ever dealt with these trust issues and their effects on your personal and professional life?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I can definitely touch on that, man. For the most part, I have always dealt with like betrayal, um, different things of that nature, man, which affect like my trust when it comes to dealing with people. But for the most part, like I'm doing the inner work to where I'm allowing myself to open up to, trusting the unknown and, opportunities and things like that. I've always been in that bag of that, but, um, kind of going through different situations for the most part with, like family and people who are close. It allows it to affect you in a different way because these are people who you don't expect to, betray you and things like that. You kind of expecting the opposite, but for the most part, um, this is it's part of like the story. Anytime you're chasing like anything important, like on a path to success, to do what's outside of the norm, breaking those barriers of shifting generational mindsets, lifestyle, just pushing the envelope forward, you have to be fully equipped and just prepared to know that like this is part of the story. It goes like this. Many greats before us have walked this lonely road and showed us that this is how it always goes. You're gonna have betrayal from family. You're gonna have your closest friends betray you, or for the most part, as you elevate on this path, on this journey, um, just being a chosen, um, this selected few handpicked. It just like when you start elevating, you're gonna automatically separate from anybody who you're around that that's not on the same path or same frequency. It's just part of life. For the most part,
Right.
I just try to handle it with a positive mindset. I always had love for people. If always have love for you, or if it has always been love, that's how it would always be. Even if I don't see you in 20 years, I'm not gonna like change that. It's gonna be the same when you see me. For the most part. But coming from certain environments and things like that, it's not the same when it comes, for everybody. Some people are rooting for you, for the most part, and some people, they have struggles within themselves that they haven't like yet healed from things that make them insecure or make them feel bad about themselves. The fact that you're moving forward or elevating, instead of like rooting you on or like being happy to see you elevate, they're like upset, they're bitter, they're disgruntled, they're jealous, they're envious, they feel some type of way about you um, being able to elevate and figure things out without like needing the help of like, input from them or just their presence to be around, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's a lonely road, for the most part. Um, Once I experienced like any type of, you know, um, false or, like six symbols of betrayal, I tend to like, get the surgical kit out, and I just cut people off like kind of before the cancer even grows, I get a sense of, an itch. And then, I cut that whole section that was itching off before it even affects anything else on my body. That's the perspective. What I mean, the analogy I'm using. I'm very clean. I don't have that on my body. you know,
No.
you know what I'm saying. For the
No.
most part, I cut it off before it even grows, man. And then I just move like that. And I'm not saying that that's the best way, but you know,
Yeah.
I just I don't really need a crowd when it comes to I developed a thick skin to where throughout my life of just being even from a teenager to now I just never really needed the help what I'm saying to do certain things. It was always there for me to figure out on my own, and a lot of times I was mentally relying on other people and I would like not put my best foot forward. I would like be dependent on others or like be around others just to, for whatever or whatnot. But I had to dig in within myself and realize, hey, like you were always the one with the ideas, or you were always the one with the power to do this the whole time. That's why these people were around you to, soak up these things or just, utilize me for, whatever thing that served, them on their journey. And, I just look at it as all learning, we just learning. Um, we just preparing for something bigger, bigger than us.
Right.
We play a role in different people's journey. And then for the most part, um, like back to what I was saying though, for the most part, when you on that steady pace of elevation, man, you're gonna automatically separate, and it's just gonna, some people gonna fly with you, and then some people, you know, they're just gonna fall off, and it is what it is. Like,
Exactly, man. Like Nip said, circle got smaller. Everybody can't go. You know
nope.
what I'm saying?
And
It
then,
ain't no love lost. You know what I mean? If you wasn't shooting with me in the gym, don't expect to get in the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't know hard feelings, but we all trying to get there, and we gotta make sure we have the right people around us. And if you ain't that individual, we gotta get you out the way. You know what I'm saying? So for the
yeah, yeah,
but I resonate with everything you just said, bro. I like for real, like it's just, you hit the nail on the head with that one. 'Cause, literally, I've been through different circumstances with different folks. You know what I'm saying? And you know, even just in the industry that I'm in, you know what I'm saying, the clothing industry, man, it's like it's finicky. You know what I mean? Like some people, they portray a certain image, and then when you try to connect on a more professional level, you know what I mean? Try to grow yourself in your brand, you know what I mean? With the understanding that, they might be able to help, you know what I'm saying, in some aspect. And then, you reach your hand out and then it gets smacked away. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, man, it stings a little bit, but you can't stop. You know what I mean? You can't let that
yeah,
stop because realistically, you can get a million no's before you get that one yes. So, but that one yes could change the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So you just got to keep plugging away. Don't give up. For real.
exactly, man. Anything that's not in the journey or is any type of friction, it just like it wasn't meant to be. It's like everything that is meant to be, it should flow in smoothly and effortlessly.
Exactly.
Anything that didn't work out, or just when things fall apart, or just like that connection is not there between you and others like it used to be. Like it's like we said, like no love lost. It just I'm on this journey, I'm on this path, and I always want to see everybody win for the most part. If I see you, what I'm saying, I see you. What I mean, it's all love, and I'm rooting for you for the most part.
Facts.
Even if we don't talk.
Facts. And I think that's where I feel like that's where we get lost at, you know what I'm saying? Especially within our community, man. It's like, everybody got the idea that they want to be the man. You know what I'm saying? They want to be the one. You know what I'm saying? The one and only. It's like, man, it's enough room for everybody at the top. You know what I'm saying? We just got to make sure that we allocate the right resources. Then, what I'm saying? We do what we got to do and we handle business. You know what I'm saying? But, there's some individuals who just ain't on that type of time. So, you got to weed them out. You know what I'm saying? Sure, slowly but surely. But, um, in what ways do you think like past experience of betrayal or trauma can influence one's behavior and decision making in business and other aspects of life?
I feel like they can affect the way you operate. I would say it can affect your attitude, maybe your perspective on people. For the most part, the way it has affected me, I would say just being a little bit more how can I say? I, hold on. For the most part, I would say it allowed me to. I don't really know the way to say it other than not trusting people as much. Not allowing people to get too close.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've built like certain business relationships with people, like doing certain dealings, but they have never been to my house or
Yeah,
been to where I lay my head at, just because like
not that.
this, we have a friendly relationship outside of this, but allowing people to get too in sometimes have been a thing for me, and
Nah,
sometimes I don't. Sometimes I look at it negatively, like, oh man, maybe I'm like. I mean, always I've been like that, like the way I was raised, as far as like let people come to my where I live. That's
oh,
that. You feel me? So I'm not tripping on that because that's like what I mean.
oh,
That's something that we see why that people have that perspective. So,
oh,
um, but other things when it comes to just allowing people in or just like receiving love and things like that, sometimes we can be a little bit too shrewd or like become like thick skinned to where we deflect and we block like the love that people are trying to give us due to us being so treated harshly or just like being betrayed or um,
being
done
misguided.
wrong by people that we love or who
Yeah,
we have gave our trust to. It allows us to carry that, and sometimes we can put that on others without even knowing with our perspective how we view things or how we view certain traits and things like that. I just always say allow people to show you who they are, before you put a label on them. For the most part, you can't carry that on and you know put that out. That energy is not necessarily going to come back to you in a positive, beneficial way for you. So I feel like going in and doing the inner work to um, heal certain things and realize, okay, this is not everybody who operates like this in this dysfunction, but you know, it allows us to grow within us ourselves to, what I mean, attract the right business relationships, the right positive, like-minded individuals that can, help us grow on our journeys. You know,
right, facts. And I think that's key, man. Like, especially when you're trying to elevate to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Like we spoke about earlier, it's just about having that right circle or the right tribe around you. Because, you might have, you might be having an off day, but then you get around like like-minded individuals or people that that you can what I'm saying rely on to be able to help you what I'm saying get your mental back on track. You know what I mean? Sometimes we need that, man, but it's like it's not in my experience, man. It's like it feels like everything's a competition, or it's a whole lot of trying to be the most feared rather than trying to be the most loved in a sense. That's the persona like, a lot of people have been. Uh, I feel like I've been made to believe is hell is can be a deep rooted issue. Obviously, if somebody betrays your trust, like you said, you can carry that on to other relationships in your life. You know what I'm saying, and not even know that that's what you're doing. You know what I mean? But at the very same time, like I do think personally that some situations that you go through with certain people are lessons in life, and some of those lessons we're supposed to take with us, so that like if we were mishandled by one individual, those lessons that we learn from that individual, the next individual we come across, we're gonna be able to pull that same string because we already been through that. We know those red flags. We know what to look for. You know what I'm saying?
facts, man, big facts. I
So
feel like, and a lot of these things are already on our path. Like it's already like a pre-written script, and a lot of these things it may not be I mean sometimes it's detailed as the exact individuals written in the script, or it could just be it could be anybody could have fit this role, but it's just the circumstances that allow certain individuals to fit the role of certain situations in the script. But for the most part, everything is kind of like pre-written to where like you said, these are things that are automatically like lessons. They're not necessarily losses, like they lessons to
Yeah,
take that, add that to the arsenal of what I mean, just be more sharper, and being more prepared for what's the next thing coming. I feel
exactly.
like God takes us through certain events and of our lives to like just kind of like like it's a snowball effect. Like we just rolling through and just collecting and getting bigger and stronger. You know,
Exactly.
and then like when a real um grand event is here, and that's an analogy because that's a real thing. But when that real event takes place, so where it's God's army against whoever,
Yeah,
shit, you see exactly what that snowball effect was for. Like what I mean?
exactly. Exactly. You really gonna learn to read. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean you'll be well prepared and you'll be bulletproof at that point, like mentally. You know what I mean? At least to endure whatever the next phase of the shit.
Um, well, speaking of like, being bulletproof, you know what I'm saying, and just trying to, navigate life, learning from our past experiences, like, the black experience is already tough enough, right? Now we all have heard, what I'm saying, the history of, the policing in your area, you know. We know that you're located, what I'm saying, around the Los Angeles area, you know what I mean? And, have you ever had to deal with them alphabet boys? And how did you navigate that mentally?
Yeah, definitely, man. Even being in my field and chasing the path of positivity, um, not even like following the street path, living the street life. I grew up around in the streets and stuff like that. My whole entire family comes from the streets.
Same
Well
here, I can
known.
relate to that.
I don't really have to even talk about it, that part, but my family is well known in the area where we grown up, deeply rooted, even back down to like the '60s and '70s.
Yeah,
My uncles and pops and cousins, made a name, not necessarily for positive, you know what I mean. So,
right.
but for the most part, that carries a jacket that over my family, even
Yeah,
growing up
okay.
in the area, South Central Los Angeles, um,
Yeah,
Normandy Avenue, 106th Street. I kind of grew up in that area, the Westmont section or
yeah,
whatnot. That carried like a jacket over my family for the young men. Like I come from a family of kingpins and and gangbangers for the most part. Like the
yeah,
'80s, and my uncles were like big time. You know what I'm saying? Kingpins, if you want to call it that. And this is facts. Like what I mean, anybody who know like the Steele family can fact check
yeah,
that. Really matter, but it's nothing positive to glorify. It's all bullshit and coon buffoonery. How I look at it, you know what I'm saying. At the end of the
yeah,
day, like these are things that we used to glorify growing up. Like what I'm saying. My uncles, like the stories that I got, like deep rooted family stories that we used to get told. You feel me? So like you know of all the stuff happening, just like Scarface movie,
yeah,
that type of shit. But like not, you know what I'm saying. But you know what I mean. I wasn't there, so I can't really speak on it. But from the stories that was told. that type of stuff going on, running operations and stuff like that. But that carried like negative um, jackets on my family to where like the harassment from the law was very um, prevalent, like and very like it's going on a high level. You know what I mean? Just growing up, getting harassed by the police just because like the block you live on, or just like who your cousins are, or like family members are. They're already kind of expecting you to become what they what was already left for you. Like they already kind of watching you when you like 10 years old. A young kid. They kind of already got their eye on you. Okay, like when you get 12, you start getting a little taller. Now they bumping you up. Now they, what I mean, pulling you at gunpoint and shit like that. So
Right.
that I experienced that growing up as a kid. You know, 10, 11 years old, getting held at gunpoint on our bikes, riding up and down the street on pegs. Like random shit like that, but we never really, what I'm saying, looked at that as like really nothing, because it gets deeper, you know what I mean, as far as when it
Yeah.
comes to that, like, it's on a high level, like, when it comes to harassment by the law, man, I could go on, like, I'm gonna just run it, because my main experience is like, and it started, like I said, from a young child, but, my home was raided at 10 years old. Police was looking for my older cousin for a murder trial, um, murder case. He was released because, he had nothing to do with it, but um, the property where I lived as a kid, we lived in the back house, me, my parents, and siblings. And then my grandpa, aunts, and cousins lived in the front house. The front house was raided. Then the back house was raided, and they was looking for my cousin for the most part. The SWAT team came in, ransacked the house, flipping everything upside down, mattresses, couch pillows, all that, all over the place. SWAT team, AR-15s in there,
Right.
no M16s. They had M16s, and I remember this vividly as a kid. I was 10 years old, and I remember this is a few months after Christmas. I had a Space Jam, Michael Jordan sleeping bag that I used to sleep on. I had a tent and all, or whatever. But I used to sleep with the sleeping bag on the bed or whatever. That was my. And I remember hiding under it and just like peeking, and then like just seeing the SWAT team up in there with the lights on the M16s, flipping shit. Looking for my
Oh,
pops and all that. Well, they wasn't looking for my pops, but they looking for whoever they thought, was involved with who they was looking for. My pops, just being my pops, he hopped out the window and dipped. He thought they were looking for him and shit.
yeah.
And he had, his couple peas. He had a couple pounds.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
well, not pounds, but he had plants. You know what I'm saying? He was growing. He had like 15, 20 plants in the crib.
Oh,
He
yeah.
can't get like booked for this because weed is legal now. So
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But like he had like
Right.
15, 20 plants. He took all them shits out and threw them out the window. We had like a right outside the window. It was a garage of the neighbor's house, right next to where our window was. So we kind of threw them on the roof of the garage right outside the window. It was like this little easy thing he did, but he
Oh,
got
yeah.
out of there, and they raided the crib, pulled my mom's out and shit, and that's my first experience I remember with the law. Just being 10 years old, getting raided, and that kind of traumatized me. We had to like go to therapy and all that shit. And, my parents sued the LAP. My parents sued the LA sheriffs for $250,000 when I
Wow.
was 10 years old. I mean,
Wow. That's
um,
crazy.
they didn't necessarily get all that bread. They had to pay lawyers and pay therapists and all types of shit. It was just a bunch. But
Yeah.
that was that. That was my first run in with the police. Being 10, and then I say around like 13, 14, um, the police have actually they ran in our house again. We actually lived on the same street, but just a different block of that street. And
Okay.
I think the police, we had like some bullshit neighbors, weird neighbors. They used to always be like spying on us and like always nosy, peeking and shit. Like, you know,
That's
and I
crazy.
grew up in a dysfunctional household. I'm not gonna like lie and shit, but you know, to where like it was like regular, hood dysfunction. Like it ain't regular because it's not normal and it shouldn't be, but at the same time, nothing that it's we not too sensitive to the shit that we seen growing up. Like
Right.
we tough enough to go through that. We went through it, but neighbors they supposedly like somebody called. This is not listen. We don't know who. Let's just say we got a call, but we know who it was.
Yeah.
Saying that like there was like some domestic like violence or something going on, and there wasn't even nothing going on over there. Like, there wasn't no domestic violence going on or nothing like that. Um, so for the most part, the police came pulling up. Um, you know, like pulling up. My pops basically was in the garage chilling, doing his thing, probably smoking or just doing him. And the police came like up in the driveway with the lights, flashlights, and all that. And come in. Basically, they forced their way up in our crib without a warrant. Talking
Yeah.
about we got a call, like, somebody getting, hurt or, some shit that we didn't know what they was talking about. My pops was in the garage smoking. We chilling. We outside. Moms and my sisters in their house. So the
Mhm.
police, like, basically pushed their way up in the crib. And then my sister, she in the bathroom. And they're taking a bath, so they like telling them to come out, put a towel on, come out. They want to look at her neck and with the flashlight, they want to, be all up in our
Oh
space
yeah, they trying
without
to
a
find
warrant.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that happened, and my parents sued them again. So that's two lawsuits in my childhood where they, were successful. This time they got less money due to like an incident where my sister was like got caught stealing somewhere with her friends or some shit. So where
Oh,
like
that's great.
So where she got locked up and released, but just them knowing, having that, it kind of discredited like the, our family in a sense when it came to like the case.
Oh yeah.
You know, it to where like the negotiations they had on the table kind of went down to where like they got whatever they settled for, but they successfully sued them. A second time. And then just by that alone, that kind of still put like a negative jacket on, like, like me and different like people, like, as far as like me, I got harassed by the police, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even as an adult. Now, I feel like those things play a part in that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Fact.
Just, even, traveling, like, even growing up, like, those experiences I told you, like, as far as, police bothering me, my like cousins just walking down the street. We experienced that, just that was just regular shit, growing up. We wasn't ever doing nothing to where it mattered. We wasn't
Yeah.
ever like, carrying around guns or doing shit to where, okay, they bump us up and let us go. Cause, we good. We ain't tripping off shit. We ain't complaining. We might not even tell, what I'm saying, our parents or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. Like, that was just everyday life. So, that we experienced those experiences, and then like when I told you I was 17, I moved to Maryland.
Hmm.
Um, just the path was like cooking and working and doing that, but just even living out there, I had run-ins with the law due to the jacket that was placed on us. Like I was telling you, growing up,
Yeah.
um, we were being basically watched out there. Um, neighbors and different stuff like that. We got all these young guys that's from California, and we were living in like Silver Spring, Maryland, and we had a driveway full of cars. You know what I'm saying? Well, I had a Cadillac DeVille '86. My cousin had a GT Mustang. My other cousin had a GT Mustang, different year. You know what I mean? It's like regular cool young dude cars. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
like doing them. You know what I'm saying? And my cousin, he was a lawyer. He had his Beamers and Ranges and shit. You know what I mean? That's him. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
moved us out from LA to live with him to experience a better life.
Nah,
So,
fact.
you know, it wasn't like a bunch of balling and stunning. It's just like people living, you know what I mean? And
Nah,
we
it's
was
love
cooking out
too.
just everyday life. So, you know, that we experienced those experiences. And then, like, when I told you I was 17, I moved to Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just, you know, the path was like cooking and working and doing that. But just even living out there, I had run-ins with the law due to the jacket that was placed on us. Like I was telling you, growing up,
Yeah.
um, we were being basically watched out there. Um, you know, neighbors and different stuff like that. We got all these young guys that's from California, and we were living in like Silver Spring, Maryland. And you know, we had a driveway full of cars. You know what I'm saying? Well, I had a Cadillac, the Ville '86. My cousin had a GT Mustang. My other cousin had a, you know what I mean, GT Mustang, different year. You know what I mean? It's like regular cool young dude cars. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
like doing them. You know what I'm saying? And my cousin, he was a lawyer. He had his Beamers and Ranges and shit. You know what I mean? That's him. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
moved us out from LA to live with him to experience a better life.
Nah,
So,
fact.
you know, it wasn't like a bunch of balling and stunning. It's just like people living, you know what I mean? And
Nah,
we was
it's love
cooking
too.
on our shit and working and living there. And then we had neighbors that was like watching us, seeing all these cars and assuming that we some big time dope dealers from California. So that was the narrative, you know what I mean? And so, you know, we had police watching us from Silver Spring, Montgomery County. Police surveillancing us, you know what I mean? We started experiencing shit, you know what I mean? And you know, I'm pretty smart, you know. So like we started experiencing certain stuff, so we'd be like on the lookout for it. You know what I mean? We was already kind of on game, and
Yeah.
you know, we'll hear creeping around the property. We'll notice like trash been going through and shit like that. So we start peeping. My cousin is a lawyer, you know what I mean? So he was an attorney. We live in the house with an attorney, and you know now they're surveillancing us. Like you know what I mean? Two attorneys actually. My cousin, his
Yeah.
fiance, then became his wife. She was an attorney too. So yeah, two attorneys we were all living in the house with. And so they ended up raiding us out there in Maryland. They raided our house in Maryland and
Uh,
kicked our doors in, you feel me? Like kicked our doors in, front doors with the battle ram. They came through our room, each room of the house, 4 5 bedroom house. They kicked all of our room doors in. We still had like boot prints on the doors, like I remember. You feel me? And this is us living in Maryland, way out of LA, and they had connections with the LA sheriff. Yeah, they connected with the LA sheriffs, like, and it was like certain cousins that lived in the house with me, like they had like past cases, you know, what I mean, robbery cases from back in the day that they did their time for and shit like that. And you know, what I mean, my cousin he moved to Maryland for a better life, so they was like pulling shit up and trying to like have a reason to run in our shit. And they didn't find nothing but like half a gram of weed. My little cousin had like a little half a blunt, a roach, and they running in there thinking they about to find like pounds and a bunch of shit. And then you got two attorneys that live here, and you got three niggas that's chefs, and you got, you know what I mean, my other cousin living there or whatnot. He had a baby, and that was that. You know what I'm saying? They ran up in our crib, didn't find shit, and then that, you know, was just harassment from the law, just by the jacket that was placed on my family before I was even born.
yeah.
All like the gang banging and the, you know what I mean, dope and all that. So, you know, and that shit still exists to this day. If I go to that same area, you know what I mean, it's that same stigma exists to where the police will try to, you know, bump us up or pin something on us. You know what I mean? I done fought like, you know, cases over there. Like even like when I was telling you with the firearm situation, it happened in that same area where I grew up. Same police, you know, harassed me And then when I got out of that situation, out of serving the 40 days in the county, getting out and being able to have to fight the case for the firearm. Well, it wasn't a firearm case. It was, well, a firearm case slash um, extended magazine. You know what I mean? That was what the case was originally about. But I basically was bumped up by a specific two cops. You know what I mean? Who um, followed me and whatnot, pulled me out the car, illegal search and seizure right in my driveway, driveway where I was residing at, and illegally searched me, took my firearm and whatnot. So they booked me for that. I served my 40 days, got out, was fighting the case. And then a week later, I get bumped up by the same exact cop, searching me illegally again, looking for, like harassing me, letting me know that he know who I am and, bragging about like, how, it's just, and so I filed a complaint on that cop, and then it's just like back to back harassment. It's just, I got it runs deep. I could talk for 2-3 hours talking about like these runs in with the law, and it's not even me living like any type of street life or anything. This is me cooking the whole time, working in the top kitchens and all that shit. But just on the way home, I'm getting pulled over, and the they come in with the K9s, 5, 6 police cars, got me sitting on the curb. This is in Maryland. This is in LA. This is, you know what I mean? Both. Like, I've been through it all. Like, in Maryland, after those police raids or even before, you know, 5, 6 police cars sitting on the curb, dogs going around my shit. Um, you know, um, just trying to search me and shit like that, or just harassing, asking us hella questions about this, or that, or about LA and all types of shit. And I'm like, damn, I'm just a chef, nigga. But I felt like Tupac, nigga, and then, you know what I'm saying? Just like certain shit, you know what I mean?
Right.
Do like how they had that jacket on him since he was a kid. They used to come to his school and harass him, feel me? And then it carried on until he was 25 years old, to when they got him up out of here. Like, that shit exists. Like, I've been through that shit. Like, and nobody can tell me that I'm lying. Like, I know I'm telling the truth. Like, I know.
Yeah.
I hadn't been through it too many times. I even got like at least about another police raid to tell you about that I ain't told you about, that happened
Yeah.
in 2017. No, 2019. This shit happened again. Feel me? Like right
That's
after Nipsey
crazy.
died. After Nipsey died, I got raided again. Like, it was crazy. Feel me? I got raided due to some other shit that had nothing to do with me. My cousin got caught up with some shit. He just got out like 2 weeks ago, a month ago, a Fed case, where like him and his people was in, you know what I mean, had some shit with the U.S. Postal Feds. And I was hanging out with him around that time and had nothing to do with nothing, but we were just texting back and forth, and just by that, nigga, they came and raided me.
Damn.
Yeah, like
That's
U.S. Postal.
cool.
Yeah, they came and raided me 2019. When I was living in Inglewood. So like that was like my last draw with like LA, and I was like, after Nipsey died, I think like 2 months later I moved out of LA, and I never moved back really. I mean, I still been in and out of LA, but for the most part, I ain't been living back in LA since 2019. It just ain't for me no more.
I feel that, man. Definitely got to move around, especially if you're dealing with that kind of opposition, bro. Like, that is insane. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, but I definitely understand, like, just being born into the type of family that carry those type of you know uh, jackets, like you say. You know what I'm
Four
saying?
police raids, man.
That's crazy, man. That's
I went,
wild, bro. That's
and I ain't,
wild.
I ain't, I ain't, I ain't so. I ain't did nothing. You feel me? I mean, I ain't gonna say I ain't, tried to sell
Yeah.
weed before when I was, I mean, young dude. But
But
I never, I
you
have
trying to
never got
survive.
off 7 before. I have never got off 7 grams. What do you mean? I got robbed before I could get off a half. Like,
Oh,
Yeah, like I've been robbed
hey,
before and at gunpoint. Like, well, it turns out it was a BB gun. Like me and my cousin was following
uh,
food, and you know what I mean. And we wasn't successful in that situation. You know what I mean. My cousin he got cracked with the BB gun in the forehead,
yeah,
with his head and all that. But
damn,
yeah, I've never been successful trying to do crime. So that was
yeah,
my first draw, like first and last draw. I tried to sell weed and that shit didn't work.
I feel
I
it.
was
Hey,
like, nah,
if it, if
it's
it
not.
don't work for you, it's like,
Yeah,
hey, like they say, stick to your day job. You know what I'm saying?
exactly, man. And that's what I
We,
did.
but like for the so dealing with uh all of that, right? Like I know you have some type of like, emotional, like I don't want to say challenges, but some, you know what I'm saying, you had emotions tied to those situations, I'm sure. 'Cause I know
Man,
how I am when the police come around, you know what I mean? I'm probably not the most friendly individual when it comes to the police, especially if they doing some stuff that, they know that they don't got no business doing, and I know that they don't got no business. So how did you navigate, you know what I'm saying, like dealing with all of that and then still keeping your composure? You know what I'm saying?
man, it was tough, really, man. To be honest, I carried like a deep. I used to carry a deep hate and resentment for the law. Like at one point, um, I just, I just had this deep resentment, like where I didn't, like my blood, I just didn't like them, it was like
No, no,
hateful, negative, like. But for the most part, I feel like I outgrown that space. Now I see and I understand like the things in life, like that was supposed to occur for me to become my best self, for me to grow, and for me to become stronger mentally and be able to experience certain things and being able to see certain things and get it firsthand from like God, like speaking to me through people along the journey in them situations. And I seen Satan speak to me and tell me what was on his mind
right, right.
throughout them situations, speaking to certain people
Hmm.
vividly. It was so vivid, bro, that I can't make it up. Like
Yeah,
I have certain vivid dreams when I was in them situations that it was that just scared me, bro. That's just, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
No, I can.
had that resentment against the law. And but now, like I said, I've grown to a space where I've accepted the things that happened to me and realized that they were meant to be on my path for me to become who I am. So I understand that it's part of God's playbook. You know what I mean? God put certain plays in the playbook for these things to occur. So I can't be mad hating the players. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't hate God neither. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, where would that get me? So it's like at the end of the day, I can't hate the pawns that God is. He directing the chessboard. I can't hate the pawns. You feel me? They just playing their
Right,
part in the role. They didn't know they was gonna get picked for that part. Feel me? And like,
exactly.
and when I look at it, it's like my life is so big and monumental that okay, it's really that we got to look at ourselves like that. We really that important to where God gonna shake the world up just for you. You know what I mean? He gonna make
Yeah,
all different players participate. You know what I mean? These pawns over here. You gonna have your queen over here and do this and that, make these moves in order to get to this goal he's trying to get to, which is like
facts.
sharpening you to make you a better you. And these other players, you know what I'm saying, they probably becoming their best self along this journey too. It's just in different phases for them. But for the most part, this your movie in this now, and I'm thankful for all the shit that I went through. I'm thankful for the corrupt cops. I'm thankful for I look at it like that now. Like I'm thankful for all those harsh experiences. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it made me see the world for what it really is. Like you know what I mean? See who really in my corner. See who really will have my back in a situation with my back against the wall. see who really will, snub your call, or just like not even just snub your call, but just who will kick dirt on you while you down, who will, spit on your name and try to take your possessions when they feel like you are in a situation to where you helpless or you can't, have access, and then to get out of them situations and navigate and just be able to still look at the same people and be like, damn, I know how you really feel about me. Like, damn,
Exactly.
I know how you will react. Like, if I was to leave the earth today, I know how, life goes on, of course, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
I witnessed my sister pass away, and I witnessed certain people. I witnessed all that love that's supposed to be there, you know what I mean? It really just a facade and realize,
Yeah,
okay, these people are really gonna be here for you when you like that ride or die shit that we was raised up on, you know what I mean? I was of course, you know what I mean, we was raised off pop and the most ride or die music or just mentality that you
yeah,
can kind of have, like, you know what I mean, growing up in the places we growing up, you know what I mean, especially being on the west, like where we at, like it just that shit is all facade. It's not really there. You know what I mean? The
yeah,
people that who held those standards are not here anymore. They're
exactly,
dead and gone or just, locked away, Like I got cousins
exactly.
that's doing life. I got a cousin doing 35 to life. He been there since '02 or '01. I think he went in 2001. This is when we still wearing FUBU jerseys, and I remember because we all used to be wearing them. He had some, I had some, other cousins had them. But that year reminded me of the FUBU jersey. But my cousin, he went there around that time. One of my other cousins doing a hundred years due to some wild shit he did.
Damn.
I got another cousin that's on death row. He did 14 years, 13 or 14 years. He been in and out. You know, throughout. He went to YA. He did like a couple years in YA. Out. Like he been out throughout like every juvenile hall. Went to YA, but he ended up getting out after 14 years in prison, right? And then was out for a year and a half, and then went back, and now he on death and like serving death penalty, not serving death penalty, but he awaiting it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
mean,
crazy.
just so like that was like the examples like set for me before my cousin, which is his name is Farid. He became an attorney by
Yeah,
being a public defender for a couple years, and he graduated at USC, UCLA, did his teaching thing for a couple years.
that's
Then
what's
he,
up.
went to Howard Law School, graduated, became an official attorney out there. Did the public defender in Baltimore for a couple years, and then started his own law firm with one of his friends. And he ended up being, helping, being very instrumental in another case where I told you where I was expedited um, to Maryland from LA County Jail. He ended up being instrumental in that case because he was able to argue with the DA over the phone and get them to drop the charges. I was facing 30 years for I was falsely accused of a burglary that I didn't, had nothing to do with or wasn't even present nowhere, around to even do. So, man, it goes deep.
That's crazy, bro. Like, so what? I mean, being so, how was that emotionally and mentally? You know what I'm saying, affecting you? Like being moved from state to state by police, transport you from state to state. What did that do to you mentally? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was your mind at?
Mentally, it definitely it prepared me to be fearless. Because it's very cold and lonely, And at the end of the day, you on your own, and you have to, you have to. That's the moment where I have to realize, okay, any fear that I have, you gotta let it go, and you gotta like walk on faith. You gotta walk, okay, knowing that God right here next to me, and I can't be touched, like and that's all I need against the, whatever, like, cause placing them situations, like even touching on, just being in a holding tank. Like you got the racist police, what I mean, LA County and stuff like that. So like they'll put you in the holding tank. I look like how I look. I mean, my
Yeah,
beard was like twice as big as it is here, but tatted or whatever. But like they put me in the holding tank with about 30, 40, Hispanics, and politics and certain stuff like that. It could be bad if I'm on that, or if they on that, or if I'm
facts.
carrying this negative energy that would attract that to me. But I was
Right.
on, my peaceful vibe, and just moving how I move, and just in there on some faith, like I'm with God, like I can't be touched type energy. And then
Yeah,
I was able to navigate and wiggle through all that shit, and
that's what's up.
not necessarily get into no hard situations in there. I had one incident where Drew Down basically held me down, you know what I'm saying? And that's my guy, like in real life, like, you know what I'm saying? I actually met Drew Down, and we became pretty cool and close up
That's
in
what's up.
LA County. Like, he, like, we should chill every day, eat together and shit. But,
Yeah,
like, down to, like, he would shoot me his ramen seasoning packets to, you know, put on my spaghetti and, like, different, like, shit to, make it better. Like, little
nah,
bullshit food that was tasting like shit, you know what I mean? I ain't had no money on my books or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I didn't have no money
yeah,
put up or nothing like that, or no family that was like looking out. My sister, she was like putting money on the phone for me. And I always, you know what I mean? I respect for my little sister for that. She was the only person looking out as far as with that, but I didn't have no money on no food or nothing. So Drew Down, like he a real legend, and we really chopped it
facts.
up. No, because I connected with him because my pops used to listen to him. So,
Yeah, you
he
talk
held me
about
down.
pimp of the year. Come on,
He
man.
he helped me because we basically was trustees and shit. So like
Yeah,
we we used to be in the laundry room doing laundry and shit. Then we'll be in there working out, lifting laundry bags and shit. But
that's what's up.
what I mean, he held me down in a situation in there because what I mean, me being a trustee, they had me in a cell with three other Latino dudes. I mean, it was pretty cool, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Was connecting and whatever. You know what I mean? Talking, having conversations, getting to know each other and shit. But then they got certain politics on how Latinos move and the jail or whatever, and they sit a certain way, they pee a certain way, and do certain shit, and that ain't us. So I had issues with the Pisces or whatever. They was like, I gotta pee, sitting down, facing forward type shit. That's the way they pee, so they don't piss on their toilet or whatever in they cell. I'm like, I'm not doing that, bro. Like that's not what I do. I'm not doing that. I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. So I'm like, I'm pissing
yeah,
standing up, and they had an issue with that. So I was down there about to get into it with them. You know what I mean? They even had like whoever was like in charge of like the Southsiders in the dorms and shit. They had
yeah,
the head nigga, you know what I'm saying, tatted head up, you know what I'm saying, balls,
yeah,
cholo nigga, had him walking back and forth like politicking like they was about to be on some shit. And Drew Down, he the one who stepped in for me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro, that's not, we don't get down like that. Like, nah, like he good, like, you know what I'm saying? He ain't gotta do that. He ain't doing that. And we don't, you know what I'm saying? Like he let them niggas know, and they had respect for him because of who he was. So the niggas
facts.
kind of
Yeah,
fell back and got in line, and just like, I mean, we had a cool little bond like the little time I was in there with him. But
that's what's up.
you know what I'm saying? That's a little experience I shared up in there. But back on the topic, man, just how it affects you mentally. Just going through that situation before I was expedited. It just like I said, it makes you tough because going through all them different states, and you're going to different jails. We even touched a federal prison. We went there just for the purpose of using the bathroom. Once we hit to the East Coast, got to Virginia, but before we got there, along the way, we just touched in different states. We went all up north, all through Fresno, all through all up north. Like I forgot exactly where, but we went all up north, past Fresno, back down, and back up, Bakersfield, all that. Picking up different inmates along the way, and dropping off inmates too who came from LA County Jail, who was getting expedited.
Yeah.
Um, and along the way, we picking up different dudes from other states that's getting expedited to their states. So we got white dudes from Louisiana. We got people from Texas. You got people who need to get dropped off in Philly. It's all types of people who we meeting along the way, and
Yeah.
who's kind of like in LA or like different parts of California who they grabbing. And then so now we hitting other states. Like now we smashing through Arizona and passing through, all that, like going through the desert, and then went all the way across the country, like, what I mean, hitting every state, stopping in all these different jails, Kansas City. We stopped in Ferguson, Missouri, and that
Yeah.
was the most crazy experience I ever experienced in Missouri because it's very racist and it's like mom and pop jails, um, substations basically, where you got the big 250-pound husky ass cops, men and women, big thick ass white people. I'm talking about jeans, they wearing jeans, big ass, you know what I'm saying, cowboy boots, pistol on their waist, like no hats and shit, talking to us like
Yeah.
shit, like you know what I'm saying, threatening to tase us in the shower. We even had like 2 minutes to take a shower. They threatened to tase us while we in the shower, all
That's
types of
crazy.
shit. Like even going to these different locations in these different jails across the country. We was basically getting transported by the same two gentlemen. Well, I ain't gonna call them gentlemen. These same two devils. It's prison transporting services. It's PTS or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, Basically, they like their own entity, government entity, federal, and they carry guns and whatnot. And we travel by van, like a 8-passenger, 7-passenger van, but with like 8 people. And then we even picking up extra people on the way, so we got like 9, 10 people in this fucking 7-passenger van, crammed up in the back. We chained up ankle and wrist the whole time. Feel me?
Yeah.
I'm skinny, so I was skinnier, even skinnier than what I am now. I was like slipping out my shit. Feel me?
Yeah.
It was going down. It was shit happening, man. To where like it was a movie. Like my life, bro. I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, I'm a document. I'm telling you, that's why I'm thankful for you, bro. Because like us doing this now is just even documenting all this shit. And I don't talk about this
Yeah.
stuff, so I be feeling like before I leave this planet, this shit got to be put up. It got to be documented. Like even this interview now, is
Yeah.
laying it down to where like somebody gonna see this and know this shit.
Facts. Nah, real
So,
life, man.
and I feel like I got $100 million lawsuit, man, like on my hands, like with the situation, because it just kind of got buried. But hopefully, me speaking about it will, ignite, somebody to do some research on the situation, because there's a few guys that I was connected with at this time, like dudes from New York, dudes from Chicago, dudes from uh, Pittsburgh, Oakland, all that shit, that we was all like in union talking about how we need to piece the lawsuit together when we get out of this shit, because what we was
Yeah.
going through. And it was like crazy, like, what I mean, like going through the different states, the prison transport services. Um, they was like, like I'm saying, like threatening to beat us, tase us. Um, they was basically starving us of water. We would go multiple states without even getting water, bro. Like we'll go through like from all the way through up north California, pass through Arizona, and get towards like the outskirts of Arizona before they giving us another bottle of water, like every 6 hours type shit. And bathroom breaks, they start slowing down on that because they don't, you know what I'm saying, giving us water to have less bathroom breaks, so we not bitch dehydrated we pissing in bottles, all types of foul shit that we gotta do because like these people are like kind of treating us this way. And we had one dude that had died. He's a diabetic, so he had his insulin that was in another state that we had to like make it to the other state to get his shit. So he having like turning blue and shit. He like and then he even got other white dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, this is no. I mean, no, we love everybody here. You feel me? We love everybody.
Yeah.
And about you know what I'm saying, but we had other dudes from. I say that because I got into it with this dude. I mean, he from Louisiana. He was like trying to prep up the little young kid. It was a young dude, like I mean, probably like early 20s that was diabetic. So he was like, he wasn't like no street dude. He was like a young hippie type, you know what I'm saying, dude, whatever. So he was like on his head about like lie to the guards and act like you faking attack from your insulin. You know what I mean? So they can come around and tend to you, and then like they can get their guns, and then you know what I mean, basically hijack this shit. You know what I'm saying, and escape. These niggas was plotting a whole escape right
Hey,
next to us, and then every time the guards get out to go use the bathroom at the gas station, they plotting. I'm sitting there just you know, and I'm getting into it with them, not about this shit, but just about them on some racist shit, talking certain evil shit. You know what I mean? And like I said, the devil was talking through this individual, like he was saying certain shit that was he didn't need to say, but it was like vivid. You feel me? Like
right,
only like some shit the devil will say. You know
right,
what I'm saying? And then you had certain individuals like that God was speaking through, letting you know that it's all right. You feel me?
facts,
And I took heed of that because it was real, it was so vivid that nigga, this can't be no dream. So
right,
I was paying attention to the signs, and then what I mean, I almost got into it with this dude. He was like threatening to kill me and all types of shit. He was like, like the devil talking to me, like I'm gonna fucking rip your fucking you fucking mirror, you fucking, you know what I mean? Like he was really going in, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna crush your fucking head. Like he was really like it was really, you know what I mean, intense. And it's like you looking the devil right in his eye, low key, and it's like he chained up, I'm chained up. You know what I mean? The only thing is in between us is chains and you know what I mean, a couple people sitting or something like that. So um it's just crazy, man, going through that situation. Eating 3 McDonald's burgers or 3 Burger King burgers a day was our diet. The whole 8 days we was driving across the country, that's all we ate. You know, every couple of hours they stopped at McDonald's and we eating off the dollar menu. So we ate. And no, like people was happy about it because it was in jail food, but at the end of the day, that eating that shit, it just made me constipated. And
yeah,
that shit, you know what I mean? Like it just sees up your insides, like that. And it's not even real food, so it just you know, and you're not drinking enough water. It wasn't good. So like that was like the experience of going through that, getting transported across um, all these states, being expedited, stopping in all these different cities. You know what I mean? Like Ferguson, like I said, was the worst. We was in a 1 man cell with like 8 people. 1 man cell with like, so they gave us basically mats to put on the ground on the floor, and then the floor looked like it ain't been cleaned in about 6 months to a year. Like the floor was nasty, man. It had hair on it. It had like like stains, like you know what I mean, blood, like little stain, like different shit, just like very unsanitary, like very nasty in this cell. And they had us in there like 6 to 8 dudes, all from different states and places. We had to like line our shits up a certain way, 1 man cell. And just like we was all packed in that bitch, and then you know what I'm saying, they serving our food through the little door and shit, and starving us, like eating like later than we were supposed to. It's all types of shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? The best treatment we got was like when we hit Denver. You know what I'm saying? They actually like treat the inmates kind of like, human like to where
right,
like it was like, okay, like it at least felt like we wasn't locked up for a day. You feel me? You
right, yeah,
know what I'm saying? Cool. But it's like at the end of the day, all these experiences, man, I took the positive out of shit too. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? We was in Kansas City. Just every different spot we hit, it's just I'm seeing a different shit about it. I'm seeing a different shit about the people. I realizing like the people, everybody in every state is from everywhere. Feel me?
yeah,
So
yeah,
and these are all regular good people. Feel me? These ain't necessarily bad people. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's just people who went through shit or just did some stupid shit that they weren't supposed to do, and they in this
exactly. Yeah,
situation. So it's just you meet a lot of good people, and you know, and you just learn how people operate. You learn how um the value of freedom. You learn the value of just being open to listening to God, because at the end of the day, God was taking me through all that shit because I didn't know why I was in it at first. But at the end of
yeah,
the day,
yeah,
I was in it. I was starting to realize, okay, this is why I'm in it, to take this and this from it. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. No, that's real. That's crazy, man. And I'm glad, you know what I'm saying, you're able to get that off on this platform, you're able to speak on that because I think, not that I think I know, you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of other people know as well that the system that we face today, man, needs a major reform, like huge reform. And, there's a lot of issues within the system. First of all, personally, it was never built for us, right? So anything, or anytime any one of us get caught up in the system, we fighting, uh, we fighting something that was never set up for us. You know what I'm saying? So we fighting and never winning back. So the fact that you are able to let us in on your experience, I think that that's important, and I think a lot of people need to hear this. You know what I'm saying? Specifically, because it just solidifies the fact that you know there's a lot of flaws. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of people that's getting wrapped up in the system that don't necessarily be as much adversity and like overcame those challenges. Like, what advice would you give to others that might be going through something similar?
The biggest advice that I would give, I would just say, man, walk by faith. That's the best thing to do. Go within, like listen to your inner voice, like tune out everything, every distraction, everything. Just tune out every voice and just go within and listen to yourself. Listen to, okay, what do you really want? And you have to plot and plan, write everything down. What got me out of that situation, man, I just like it'll be days where I just be, I'll be so buried in like my thoughts of just like thinking, not knowing how my case is gonna go, not knowing if I'm gonna get out the situation. Like both situations actually. The first one when I was facing 8 years, then it boiled down to like 3.5. Then the second situation, I was facing 30 off the back, and it wasn't going down on it. So just not knowing how I'm gonna come out of that, it just took a lot of mental strength that I had to build to be able to start writing things down and seeing myself outside doing these things, not knowing how I'm gonna get through it, but knowing that I'm innocent within my heart. So at the end of the day, the good always prevail. Like lies can only hold up for so long. So it's like I know the lies was going to eventually crumble. I just have to navigate how I'm going to get through this for the time being. Why God showed me the reason why He got me here. And then once I start realizing that I'm here for a reason and I'm here going through this because God wanted me to go through this for certain reasons. And then things started to make more sense. And then I started to like my thoughts started to manifest on far as me unlocking the, breaking the chains, getting up out of there, like certain things started to go well for me forward, or just certain things, um, started to become true. And I was able to kind of like quarterback my release by from the inside by like I had my sister, she would put money on the phone. I would have her go to this court, get this document, or I have her go get my article in the newspaper where I ran open the restaurant at 21. have her go print out my resume, which is extensive, showing all the work and positive things that I've done, you know, and this
Yeah.
image that the law was trying to paint of me that, you know, is just pretty much false. And then the judge, anybody with common sense can look at my resume and look at all the things I've done and like the shit that I was about and see that, hey, like he didn't do this shit. And that's kind of clearly what got me out of most of my situations when it was all said and done. You know, my cousin arguing down the lawyer, the DA to get the certain case dropped, or just, you know, me being able to walk away out of the other situation with probation, just because, you know, at the end of the day, like this dude has done, you know, he's a community guy, like, you know, he's a
Yeah.
positive person, like we bullshitting ourselves sitting there wasting our time, like trying to, like, there's other people out here that we could be fucking with. And I feel like
Facts.
you got the message and then it kind of fell back. But, you know, write that shit down, man. That's the way you're going to navigate your way out of it. I was writing down, okay, when I get out, the first day I'm doing this. This is, I need to go here to this location to do this, to handle this business. I need to go here to get this printed out. I need to, you know, go pick my car up from here. I need to pay this, and, you know, man, I was just trying to orchestrate and write it all down to figure it out before I get out, man. Because I got out owing people money and all types of shit. Not people, but, you know what I mean, owing bail bondsmen and owing obligations and bills that I had before I went in and all types of shit. So, you know, it just, you need your mentals to be able to navigate your way up out of it, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, that's why I'm like, you know, you definitely gotta keep a strong mind for sure. Above all, be solidified in who you are as an individual. Stand up, regardless of what anybody else is about to say about you. You know the truth. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, but the real ones around you don't know the truth. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, you know, standing 10 toes on who you are, and you know what I'm saying, and not giving up, and not just, you know what I'm saying, rolling over to the adversity, man. That says a lot about you and your character, you know what I mean? So, man, kudos to you for being able to, you know what I'm saying, navigate those crazy situations, man, and you know what I'm saying, and still be doing what you're doing, bro. Like you really, you know what I'm saying, came out of that and was able to, you know, build and grow something great. You know what I'm saying? Not just something, but some things. You know what I'm saying? You're working on multiple facets of your life right now. So with outside of just being a family man, you know what I mean? Which is huge in itself. You know what I mean? Not a lot of you know, not too many brothers are actually, you know, sticking around to take care of said family. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you're doing that and also providing and also, you know, elevating yourself in the process, man, that's huge, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's something that a lot of people should take away from these episodes because, you know, one thing that I want people to realize with the people that I bring on is that, you know what I'm saying, these are testimonies, real life testimonies of people in real life who are actually out here living and doing great things, you know what I'm saying, regardless of, you know, what life is throwing at them or, you know what I'm saying, the cars that they built, you know, because you could have just, you know what I'm saying, you could have gave up a long time ago, but to be sitting here, you know what I'm saying, on this podcast telling your story and still be as successful as you are, and then on top of that, you know what I'm saying, growing other businesses, man, like, you know what I mean, like the resilience you have and the ability to just keep going beyond everything that you've already been through, man. Like I said, it speaks volumes. So, you know, it's been a pleasure, bro, like having you on this podcast. And, you know, we've already talked about it off camera, but, you know, we always going this connection and always going, you know, be able to come together and create something for the people, for the culture. And, you know, we're going to continue to push that line just like we talked about, you know what I'm saying, as always, man. So, you know, with that being said, man, this has been probably, you know what I'm saying, I like the last episode, but I think this one was a one. I think this one was a one. So,
Definitely, man. We're going to definitely take this one out of you.
Yeah, so I'm glad we did this, man, and you know it's gonna be more in the future because you definitely coming back to you know what I'm saying bless the stage over here on this side of the Mental Wealth Podcast. So with that being said, brother, man, I just want to say thank you again for coming on here, sharing your experiences, and
Likewise,
you know what I'm
man.
saying, just
Appreciate
you
you,
know what
man,
I'm
for the
saying,
platform, man.
absolutely, absolutely, man. You know, I feel like you know we need more platforms like this so that we can you know, continue to grow as individuals, not just you know monetarily. You know, it ain't always just about getting the bag, but it's also about making sure your mental is
Getting that mental bag right.
exactly because mental health is wealth. You already know. So
Getting rid of that mental baggage.
exactly,
You feel me?
exactly. Like Erica Badu say, we don't want no bag, like
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. We dropping that off at the door. You feel me? But man, it's been a pleasure, man. Like I said, and you know, we're gonna do this thing again. But that being said, my brother, man, go ahead and plug the people with your stuff one more time. You know what I'm saying? We also gonna have your all your information in the description of the video. But go ahead and let people know where they can
man. You can
find your
follow
mental
me
stuff.
at Rod Still the Chef on all platforms. At Rod Still the Chef, one word. You can also follow me at Steele Rod CMOS Gel. That's STEELE CMOS GEL. That's my wellness page. Also have Steel Sharpens Steel. That's Steel Sharpens. That's my last name. Sharpens um Still. Well, Sharpens underscore Still. My bad, y'all. I got tons of pages, but just follow me on Ross to the Chef on Instagram. You'll see in my bio I have all my plugs there, and also follow me on TikTok at Ross to the Chef, all one word, and also subscribe to me on YouTube, Ross to the Chef, just as you see laid out here, right there. So yeah, man, that's where I'm at.
Yes, sir. And again, like I said, for those who listening, man, we definitely gonna make sure that we plug all of this information on the description of this episode. So if y'all want to tap in with bro, which I definitely recommend you do so, and definitely tap into the IG, man. The stuff he's doing with food, man, is insane. Man. So definitely go tap in. I'm telling you, you're gonna be pleased with what you see. And book this man. Come on, man, book this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Go, let's
Do
go.
yourself a favor. You know what
Let's get that money. Let's go.
I'm saying? But outside of that, man, hey, thank y'all for listening. I appreciate y'all. And until the next episode, stay healthy, stay wealthy. The Mental Wealth Podcast. We out.